Hey, we're live.
All right, cool.
I just got the notification that we're live. I'm going to double check the YouTube broadcast stream.
Yep, we're there. We're good.
We are?
Yeah.
God damn, it's good to see you, Chris.
Thank you, man.
I'm sorry for the scheduling issues, and by sorry I mean I really mishandled scheduling. And I apologize. And you know what I'm going to say now because I've already told you I'm going to use it to the audience in my advantage. I'm sorry, guys. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday, Carl.
Oh, Chris, come on, man. You know I am with birthdays.
I had to.
You want to keep it. Oh, and that's super nice of you. Over 60,000 strong in Japan. Over
Unreal.
60,000 people at this game, they said.
What is, in terms of just overall capacity, what is the biggest stadium in Major League Baseball? Is it Dodger Stadium?
Man, Dodger Stadium, so big. That's a great question. You know, I was at Chase Field this past week. With a lot of people in Chase Field, it's probably against 46. Dodger Stadium's probably over 50. All newer ballparks are much smaller, like the Petcos.
Right. Okay, technically, and this is never the case, in terms of overall capacity, the amount of people they can fit into the stadium, number one is Oco Coliseum.
Is where?
Oakland.
Oakland? Oh, God, they could probably do 100.
Yeah,
well, that tarp is like...
Their max is 56,782. Second is Dodger Stadium at 56,000, followed by Coors Field, and you brought up Chase Field at almost 49,000.
Chase is almost 49. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to get a prop for the computer because it's a little low for my liking. So we're going to use this dried dishes in this thing. So
okay.
Let's see if this improves the angle in which I'm streaming. And already I like it. I haven't even looked at it, and I already enjoy the towel rack. Yeah. Oh, wow, this is clean. You got to be clean when you have a bald head like this. What did you say was number 2 on that list?
Dodger Stadium, and then Coors Field.
No, why would Coors Field probably built it so big like that? Because it was like 1990 fucking one when they had the architect come out and look at the site and like, I think if we do 60,000 here.
It was that, like, people, well, I mean, I think they do, but like Camden Yards was a huge influence on so many parks that were built around that time.
Now, and it was Camden Yards smaller or bigger, Chris?
Camden Yards one of the bigger ones. And it was, let's see, that they hold their max is about 45,000. Let me see when they built it. It was constructed during the 80s and early 2000s. Or 90s and early 2000s. But it was completed in 1992.
Have you been to Camden Yards?
I have not. No, I should get there.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of places I haven't gone to.
Most
of them, really.
You haven't been to most, you said?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, that's very easy to change. A ticket in a short drive. A ticket and a short drive will put you in every fucking ballpark in the city in the next 12 months.
I'm trying to get to as many as possible.
We just got to parse it out. Division. Like, you can do Kansas City and St. Louis and roll that shit back up into like a Minnesota, a Milwaukee, and all the Chicago's back to Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, we just knocked out 6 right there.
I've been to the Chicago's.
Overrated.
I love Wrigley, but I've been to Progressive in Cleveland, which I think I like more than most. But I also like Cleveland. So
I want to get I want to do like a Barstool baseball PNC day.
that'd be great.
Thursday, 1 o'clock, because the Pirates are playing a fucking Friday night, and they're hosting somebody on a Thursday morning on a getaway. So whoever the fuck that is has got to get out Thursday 3 p.m. so they can get in for their Friday night. So preferably like an interleague play game.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday 1 o'clock. I'm talking max 2,000 people at that stadium. One of the best sports venues in the world.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah.
Anytime you bring up the Pittsburgh Pirates, two things come up right away. Number one, the team stinks, and number two is they play in like the best park.
I'd like to put three out there. The Willie Stargell statue that they have got down that fucking third baseline, the outside the stadium, is the most magnificent piece of steel work that city's ever created, and that's a steel. I mean, all they do is make steel out of there. I'm telling you, the Willie Stargell statue takes your breath away. He's 20 feet tall. It's the biggest statue you've ever seen in your life. And I think the premise is Willie Stargell was like the biggest player. It was the biggest. It was like, so they made the statue so that when you see it, you're like,
you're blown
now
away.
Here I am talking about a Willie Stargell statue. Jesus Christ. I tell you, they do a good job out there. No, Italy's not out of this. 7-2.
No. I thought the at-bats they had second time through the order against Ohtani were genuinely good. The first time, like, Ohtani's, well, I said this on the stream I was doing. Like, Ohtani, what he does is impressive no matter what. Like, obviously, he's like a 1 in a million guy. But the fact that his stuff is so good just adds to it. Like, if he was, and I love this guy, but like if he was Adam Wainwright just throwing like 87, it'd be like, it'd be awesome. But the fact that he is, in terms of pure stuff, probably top 5 in baseball, just adds to the mystique.
Let's round it out. Obviously, DeGrom's on the 5.
DeGrom's not at full health. DeGrom, I'm still saying Verlander.
Really?
Yeah, I mean Did you watch him last year? I mean, I know. Oh, you know
That's
who's
what I'm saying. Pure stuff is now. Does he still? Now you would take Verlander's stuff over like. Now see, I don't know. I personally, I like him. Ooh, like does he have better stuff than Garcia?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if he has better stuff than Valdez, though.
Framber Valdez, to me, has the best stuff.
Yeah.
That ball has to – he throws – the ball weighs twice as much.
Mm-hmm.
He throws it twice as hard. Like – he's got the hair. The hair is like the whole thing. I know now we're getting away from stuff.
No, but he was awesome in the postseason last year. At the top of that list, though, okay, DeGrom, I think you obviously have to put number 1, close second. And you could almost put him first because DeGrom's never healthy. Alcantara.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, what I love, Alcantara's last season, the year he had, is one of my favorite seasons ever because I get the impression he could strike out 10 a game if he wanted to. But the fact that he's got that sinker, which is just a ground ball machine that he throws at 100 just consistently, he goes really deep into games. He turns a lot of double plays, and he has a lot of quick innings. Like I think the year he had last year, I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Like it was 200, well over 200 innings. I think 30 more than the guy who was in second. Like
they're gonna get back to that because right now pitchers have this more than anything else. I should say more than other times historically to me, have just such a fascination with the strikeout stuff and social media and the clip. Mm-hmm. And did you see the slider I threw? I think if you asked a good starting pitcher, maybe not DeGrom because he's so bored with such little team success in his career. But if you talk to like maybe DeGrom would say the same thing too. But like I think a 1 pitch out is like the most celebrated thing. Like a 1 or 2 pitch out in baseball, like a pitcher is like, I didn't even have to strike you out. You just fucking decide to get yourself out in 2 pitches. That's to me is like the most gangster thing you can do. Like Kyle Hendricks is a gangster.
Yeah.
Like he goes out there at 87 and he's just like, boom.
Yeah, well,
Last year, but
I brought him up just a minute ago, but look at how long Wainwright's been able to sustain his career,
just miss him. Exact same thing. It's like, oh, this guy, here comes like a flip Charlie. Now you see a little curveball, and I'm going to throw you just more Charlies, just over and over again, 3 in a row, and you just tap it back to the pitcher. I think that's cooler than striking a guy out because, like, weak contact is – now, if Sandy – he could be the face of weak contact. Who will be the face of weak contact this year?
I think for a minute, it was – you brought him up. I think it was Hendricks for a second. I think if for a brief minute there in the mid-2010s, it was him in the National League and Keuchel in the American League. Currently, though...
Don't be saying that name around here. That gets people, not me. Just people...
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Well, I'm saying, yeah. Now, when he dropped off hard, but he was so damn good for a second there.
The drop-off wasn't like he went from 96 to like 86. His drop-off was like he went from 90 to like 88. He was the same pitcher. That's the Houston Astros. What are they doing when Dallas Keuchel's winning Cy Youngs?
Yeah.
What do the Astros know that we don't?
And the fact that he never repeated it anywhere else. He was okay in Atlanta, but like he had that short window where he was dominant and then went away. But currently, I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anyone. I mean, Alcantara comes to mind, but the thing is, Alcantara's stuff is so nasty. I'm thinking of those guys who like the Greg Maddixes of the world, where they're touching 88, and it's just like you look up and they've got 80 pitches through 8 innings.
The Greg Maddix highlights really put it in perspective, especially younger guys and I mean younger guys, kids. I mean, that two-seam he throws is a left-handed curveball. He throws a left-handed curveball from the right side.
It literally looks like it's going to hit you when you're in the batter's box, and then just crosses plate right there. Yeah.
Yeah, he could throw it at your shoulder and have it come over the center of the plate. Yeah. Like. Now, what's interesting about those balls are the major league balls are so smooth. The seams are rubbed down so much that the way the air affects those balls, they make them move more. The balls will move more. What they can't do, I'm sorry, I'll turn it down. What those balls will not do, though, is those balls, you can't command them nearly as much. You can't make them go as straight. The older you get, the more they make the seams go smaller and smaller into the fucking leather of the ball. So when you're in like Little League or whatever, the seams are outside the ball, and that makes it go straight. And that makes it go and helps players get a grip on the ball and kind of send it in place. The fact that Greg Maddux, the thing feels like an egg is my point, which allows it to dip and dance. Yeah. It also allows it to go very far when it's hit. But for perspective of throwing the ball, a lot of pitchers are just like, I just aim on the outer half or the inner half or the outer third and the inner third because it's hard to fucking manage the command of these balls. But this is a long-winded way of saying the fact that Greg Maddux could make it dance exactly where he wanted to. It just adds the fingers on that guy. I mean, if he's not a piano player, the finger is like,
he never got injured. I mean,
that's because he did a ton of steroids.
Maddux?
Do you believe me if I have a sincere belief that everybody during that era was doing steroids? Like the clubhouse guy was doing steroids.
It wouldn't shock me. It's a unique thing because I feel that way about the sign stealing stuff. Because I was the guy. Now, part of it was I have bizarrely a very large following of Astros fans, but that's beside the point. I was the one guy when all that shit happened who was like, okay, I'm not saying this isn't a big deal because it is. But the way that people went so far in the other direction, as if the Astros were the fucking 03 Tigers, if you take away the trash cans, was the point where I'm like, okay, let's calm down maybe a little bit. And honestly, them winning it all last year was like the vindication for me because I'm just like, okay, well, clearly, they probably could have won it, and any of these other years. I am under the impression, and there's certain players that I've heard about. I've heard a lot of Cody Bellinger rumors. Who just bizarrely, after they cracked down on this stuff, fell off like crazy. Power numbers have been down across the league for a long time. or not for a long time, but for the last year or two. It's a combination of that, the juice baseballs, the sticky stuff. I get it. But like, I'm willing to believe of the 30 teams in Major League Baseball, all 30 have some sort of system to try to get ahead with. Now, the Astros was probably more technologically advanced than others, but like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me the way it bothers other people. And I know I get ripped for that take, but it's just, I don't know.
You mean like the Astros is the only team cheating in one specific thing? That's a lot. Like, how about the guy in the Cardinals went to fucking jail?
Right. Yes.
Like, oh no, he just went to the Cardinals and didn't like. If you worked a day for the Astros and you went to another team, you were like, "Hey, by the way, this is what we do at the Astros."
Of course.
And then you have 30 teams doing that. You have teams, you have guys rotating. You have guys no one knows about, amateur scouting directors, people that have nothing to do with anything you'll ever watch in a baseball game, sitting in boardrooms being like, now, if we take a fucking trash can on left center field.
Right.
Now, this is within the roots of the game. John McGraw with the fucking original New York Giants, like rounding second base, and just cutting off third and going home because, like, well, there's one umpire. Like, why would we not do you think they're the only teams doing shit like that? Like, the original invention of cheating is like, well, we only got one guy out here, so let's fuck
right,
with him a little bit. That's never gone away. That's never, ever gone away. It's never going to go away. There's never going to be a time when someone's like, we should all play this game as healthy and clean as possible. It'll never happen. I actually like the fact that you can cheat in baseball.
Yeah,
like, I like a player that can scuff a ball and can't get caught. I like a guy that can do the Vagisil on the back.
Well, dude, that's why so many people have nowadays, like, it's bizarre the way it's changed. Because in the early 2000s when I was coming up, like, people felt so betrayed by the steroid era. Nowadays, like, people to look back on that era fondly. It's like they fucking saved the game. Like that run, like McGuire, and so like that was so huge for baseball. It's strange to kind of turn. I think the same thing will happen with the Astros, where years from now, Altuve is going to go back to being like the scrappy second baseman that everybody likes. I think right now they're going through that period where everybody hates them. But I think even last year with them winning it all, people were like, damn, like shit. I mean, they won 106. That's one of the best teams ever. Like,
yeah, they'll never get, they'll always be disrespected. No one's ever going to like them as much as they should. How about like Dusty? Like even Dusty winning a championship and people being like, good for Dusty. It's like, dude, everybody who likes baseball should have thrown a party for Dusty Baker last year.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. I mean, I love Dusty. Coach, my guy's like, he's the best when it comes to post-game press conferences. Dusty will sit up there and be like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have sent him. It's like, you weren't even coaching third base. It's like, yeah, but he knows the way I tell him to send him all the time. Like, he'll just own everything. You just fucking lay it on me. I'm Dusty.
We had this conversation, I think, our last stream about managers, like, that are actual personalities as opposed to just, mouthpieces for the analytics department. People shit on Dusty Baker a lot. I think probably a lot of it's gone now that he's won a championship, but he's won everywhere. He's taken 5 different teams to the postseason. Like, there's no...
Whoa. Cincinnati, Chicago, San Francisco, Washington, and Houston?
Yeah.
Cincinnati would be the one I would not have got. I don't know why that one came out first.
They had some good teams. They never won a playoff series, but in 2012 they won, and I know this because the Giants ended up sweeping us in the World Series. They won the first 2 games of the NLDS on the road in San Francisco, and then that was that weird year where it went 2-3 for the divisional series. They lost 3 straight games at home to San Francisco, or else they would have gone to the NLCS that year.
That you're talking about the Reds with Joey Votto
in 2012, and it was Votto and Frazier and Bruce. Scott Rowlands last year, Homer Bailey. That was good.
The greatest personality in baseball at a time when baseball. I mean, you couldn't ask Brandon Phillips. I'm going to say something about Brandon Phillips for a second. When Brandon Phillips came up in baseball, could have been arguably the most closeted racist time in baseball. Like the most, like, oh, you're fucking black, go play left field. Like, that was where baseball was trending when Brandon Phillips was in the minor leagues. It was like, oh, no, you don't play second base. You go out the outfield, you fucking steal bases. Like,
Yeah.
That's the culture of baseball. In inherently and extremely, and I got no fucking problem saying this. I've made my bones in this sport. An extremely racist player development system, especially at the time for Brandon Phillips to come up. When he fucking made it, and was like playing second base and doing his shit and the first guy on social media and the first motherfucker to be out there like, yeah, we're out here to fuck people up. Like, it's not about like, yeah, well, it takes courage and balls or whatever. It's just like that just didn't exist. The idea of like this like colorful, funny, fucking hilarious, like, yeah, I'm an all-star, I fuck you up. But when you get to second base, I hug you. I love you.
Yeah.
What's up? I pat you on the butt. Like, what's up, bro? Like, he had the coolest. He was one of the cool. He will go down to me in history as like one of the most underrated cool guys in baseball. And for a lot of people, he fucking lightened him up. He lightened that game up so much for a lot of people. That motherfucker, Brandon. I'm not gonna say Mount Rushmore of guests because we talked about Craig Maddox earlier, but
yeah, you'd love to have him on. Yeah,
I just watch him. I would like to follow him around for a day and be like, hey, can you go grocery shopping? Like, are you like this with like the guy at the deli counter? Like, is he like walking in and like tapping him up, and does he just show love to everybody? He's got to be. He has to. It's Brandon Phillips. He's so cool. I'm sorry. I don't get a chance to talk about Brandon Phillips much, so when his name comes up, I'm going to go like this.
I feel like he was very much ahead of his time because if Brandon Phillips played today, he'd be Jazz Chisholm. Like, I feel like people would connect with him as a player the way that they, like, we talked about it in the group chat. Like, Jazz Chisholm played like 60 games last year, and he's on the cover of MLB The Show. Like, I feel like Phillips, with the highlight reel plays, the swag, like, I feel like he'd kind of have that similar vibe to him.
Jazz Chisholm's on the cover of the show with 60 games last year.
I think so. I remember Clemmer I was having a conversation with Clemmer about it, and he said, like, yeah, he made the All-Star team and hit a few home runs, but he played exactly 60 games last year.
All right, he's so a very small man. I met him last year at the red carpet event. I went with Jake for the All-Star game. But people are walking by. Aaron Judge, huge, big hands. Yeah. Rob Manfred fits into a crowd. All those like things. You're like, oh, cool, yeah. Jazz Chisholm walks by. A lot of guys walk in with their entourage, and I mean like a large entourage. Like Aaron Judge had people. A lot of people, cameras, all stuff.
Yeah.
Jazz Chisholm just walked in with his girlfriend in a silk matching short top, unbuttoned top, just like just chain.
I remember the photos. Yeah.
Home run Japan 8-2. These guys, they're coming from work. Everybody's in business casual. It looks good. That's a beautiful. Fuck.
Do you feel like this team's the favorite now?
Japan has to be because they want it so bad. The Americans might want it. The Americans might. I still don't know because I don't know much about Japanese spring training or what they do. I know that a lot of Americans are enjoying the experience because they're not doing spring training. So like Mike Trout can say whatever the fuck he wants about like, I saw Adam Jones win it in 2017. I saw Tanner Roark pitch against Japan. Fuck all that.
I doesn't want to be in spring training.
Yeah, these guys are they're like, yeah, I don't have to be at spring training right now. And he didn't know that in 2017. He was like, whoa, where is everybody? They're like, oh, they're at the World Baseball Classic. So he's like, I'm not fucking doing this shit again. That's what I think.
I have a question because I was thinking about this, and I'm not exactly sure what the ratings were. But Mike Trout last night, 3 RBIs, the only 3 RBIs for U.S. in that game. In terms of eyeballs being on him, was that probably the most exposure Mike Trout's ever gotten as a baseball player?
Probably.
Yeah, and which is sad to say, but it's just like, and it also shows why the whole like clutch argument is nonsense because, like, he was the best player in the field last night. Like, he was totally in his own element. It's like you would just love to see what that could be if the Angels ever got there. But it's
I have a hard time with the player marketability stuff because Mike Trout, like, all right, I'm Carl. Everybody knows me. Barstool. Carl. Okay, my name's Michael Carl Sturck. Today, thank you, Chris. We talked about this pre-show. Today, I turned 36 years old. I'm from Oak Lawn, Illinois, suburb of Chicago. I'm so average in the grand scheme of things, utterly meaningless. I'd like give you some like personal to say like the last thing Mike Trout wants to do is connect with Mike Sturck, 36-year-old Oak Lawn guy who loves baseball. The last thing Mike Trout will ever want to do is talk to me about baseball. He didn't give a fuck at all. He does not give one flying fuck about who I am and how I like baseball and how does baseball work for me and all this shit.
Yeah.
Because he's so fucking good at it. And I feel like the world is bad to him. I feel like people are bad to Mike Trout. Like, oh, Mike, you gotta be more marketable. It's like, dude, he's so good at the hardest thing. He's better than anybody else at the hardest thing. Why does he have to be on the cover of he don't need to be on the cover of the show. He's gonna hit 330 anyways.
You're
don't care
correct.
about me.
I think you are onto something. The fact that the whole like he needs to market himself more argument is a bit ridiculous. But I think again it goes back to what so many people have said. I don't know if it's the world's bad to him. His team is bad to him. They are like I that is just such a killer. Like that he's consistently on teams that are 74 and 88. Because ultimately in our culture in like America when it comes to selling athletes, what matters probably too much. But we want winners. And it's not Mike Trout. Mike Trout put up 10 WAR for some of these teams. Like, it's not his fault, but it's like the public perception. It's why somebody like Derek Jeter was so popular. Is like he was viewed as a winner. You know, LeBron James really took off when he started winning championships. You know, like that's just kind of the way things are here, whether fair or not. I also am under the impression that the whole like is this player marketable thing is kind of fugazi. I think any player can be marketable if you if you make them that way. Like,
and these guys are paid like the NFL. Those players are so Kelsey brothers in their podcast. Maybe that's a good example. But like the NFL, those players are so marketable. You know how much more money baseball players make than football players? Any idea how much guaranteed rights, health, pension, benefits, privileges that players union has earned for themselves over 120 fucking years. So when it comes to like the marketability stuff, it's like, yeah, no, all our shit's guaranteed. Yeah, those owners, they pay those checks. I mean, Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom this year will combine for $86.67 million, which is approximately 40% of an NFL fucking salary cap.
Yeah.
Two guys, imagine a football season where you're like, those two guys? Nah, dude. They only play 40% of the games. They're good for fucking 8 or 9 games a year. You're like, oh, okay. How much do they get? $44 million.
Yeah.
So the marketing thing, and I like what you're saying where it's like, it's fugazi. Like, anybody can be marketed the right way.
Yeah.
But if a lot of it too, the teams don't want to market their players because it doesn't bring fans into the game. It just makes those players more expensive.
Correct. But that's why Derek Jeter was so beloved, because Derek Jeter marketed himself. And for the most part, like, he had a brand of his own. And so he kind of like MLB loved him because of that. It's like you're marketing yourself. You're playing for the most recognizable brand in all of sports. You're a shortstop for the Yankees. Oh, and you make a ton of money on advertising and like, $1 million smile and like all that shit. Like that was, he was lightning in a bottle. It seemed for a minute like we might have something like that with Tatis. We talk about an all-time bag fumble.
I mean, he played 120 games and he got $300 million.
Yeah, I mean, not in that aspect. I just mean like it seemed like he was on the short list of being the face of baseball, and last year just killed him.
Well
Though
said,
I think
Chris.
What's that?
I said well said.
Yeah.
Well articulated point. I
Thank
agree
you.
with you. You know, Derek Jeter did get a lot of that. Like, yeah, they're winners. They win. You know, they're awesome. But like, he has the moments.
Right.
You know, when people ask me about Barstool, now here's some fucking inside baseball for anybody who's watching this concurrently with us. I'll give you this is like I have a couple moments in my Barstool career where I went, oh, really? Jared gave me a ton of them. I loved following Jared from afar because he was so good at getting people pissed off,
Yes.
putting himself in. I remember the Milwaukee Brewers got hot. He was like in the middle of it. I'm like sitting in Chicago, like, how the fuck did Jared do that? Like, people in Milwaukee are like tweeting at him after games. I'm like, God damn,
Yeah.
this guy's fucking good. And this is my long one away. He had made a point before about it's a lot like wrestling. I grew up on wrestling watching WWF. And he was like, I just see it a lot like wrestling. Like, I have to create a storyline that's going to put me in your thought process when something comes up. And that's what WWF did so beautifully. And he did like a long, I don't know if it was like with the Boston Observer or Inquirer or Inspector, somebody who sat down and wrote a bunch of fucking words about what he had to say. And I read it and it was well said. I'm saying all that in my hypothetical where like I'm going to give you my Jared. I think the job's made in moments. I think Barstool's made him. I think people you collect a series of moments. I was there when this happened. I did this. I fucking did this. And then you get this like reel and it's like, yeah, I did this. No different than baseball where it's like moments. And for all the fucking shit Jeter did, like he has the moment, like that flip play and hitting the home run off young Kim and then hitting the other home run off. Like it's like one thing after the other. It's like this guy's a joke. This guy can't be real. No, he is. And the fact that like at his depth of analysis, it's like he's actually below average defensively and overrated offensively.
That's always been my argument with him is I think Derek Jeter has maybe the best. If you take 5 minutes of Derek Jeter's highlight reel, it might be the best of any player in history. If you knew nothing about baseball and just watched Derek Jeter's highlight reel, you'd think this guy was a 100-WAR player. Like he's got the jump throw, the catch in the stands, the flip play, the walk-off home run in Game 4 in 01. Like he's got a million different moments, and part of that was he was put on that stage a million different times. One of my favorite baseball statistics of all time is that his final home game for the Yankees where he hit the walk-off against the Orioles was the only game he ever played at Yankee Stadium in which the Yankees were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He started playing in 1995.
So in 2000, what was that?
14. Yeah. Last home game of 2014, probably the worst Yankees team probably in my lifetime, really, because I was born in 95. I think that was like an 83 win team. Even that team was in the hunt until the end. That was the only home game he ever played in which they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
By definition of mathematics. So I couldn't say Spencer Torkelson last year in May was mathematically eliminated.
Right.
He was eliminated.
In terms of math, right, yeah.
Okay.
It was a late September game in which had they won out, they still could not have made the playoffs. Right. It's not like my team who's mathematically eliminated on opening day. It's a little bit different. Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who's shown up. I just tweeted out the link again. We're here a little late. My fault. Chris has been up since fucking 3 a.m. Eastern time, keeping score, watching Italy, Japan. You know a lot about Takaya Ye, who's up. We're here for Vinny Pasquantino. We're here for Team Italy, for Barstool Baseball. Thanks for tuning into the stream. And like most streams that involve me, we're going to watch a baseball game. We're going to talk baseball. Mm-hmm. They'll very, very rarely have two things to do with it.
Yeah.
This is what like watching a game is. Like I can sit here and talk about fucking Matt Festa and high strikeout, little less command, big reliever, Seattle guy, but no, I want these Jeter stories. I didn't know that Derek Jeter was fucking the first game he ever played mathematically. The only time he was mathematically eliminated at home from the playoffs, he hit his 3,000th hit.
Or no, he hit the walk off in his final game.
I mean, take me out back and shoot me out here.
Or that's another huge moment. His 3,000th hit was a home run off a Cy Young winner. It's like if you take any like random 5 minutes of highlights.
I'm pretty sure the guys who caught that or where that ball was, like that was like one of the first big moments in sports where you had like the selfie video of like the ball coming in.
Yeah,
there's like, holy fuck, we just got it.
I remember that weekend. I was in Williamsburg, Virginia when that happened.
What jail were you in Williamsburg?
Oh yeah, I was 16 years old. I was getting in some gang activity. No, my Virginia is a place where old people like to live, and so my grandparents were living there at the time, and one of them still does. And we were visiting. It was. I don't think
the other one move or pass on. Do you mind me asking?
Oh, he passed away like 5 years ago.
God bless him.
Thank you. Great guy. Big baseball fan. But yeah, we were visiting that, and I remember the run. And then he didn't play in the All-Star game, which pissed a lot of people off.
Well, I mean, that guy don't need to be playing all. Jeter, not your grandpa.
Right, yeah, exactly. I remember.
Okay. I was going to say, did your grandpa play a little bit, though?
I think he did, yeah.
I have one grandpa who played. They're both gone. One played basketball. The other one was like a swimmer or some shit. And I was like making fun of him for swimming one time. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, big swimmer and diver. And he was like, did you know how I learned how to swim? And I was like, no. And he was like, it was June of 1943, and I was on a destroyer in the Pacific when I was like, never mind, don't want to hear the story about how you learned how to swim, Grandpa. Take that one off the books. 40% of my fucking load. Oh, I was like, never mind. I don't want to hear the story. I'm sorry. He's a big swimmer. He was a big swimmer, and ever since then, we were like, hey, did you see the breaststroke? How about He's like, I'm not that type of swimmer. Don't fucking talk to me about swimming. Grandpas are funny. The other one was adamant that if you didn't pitch inside, you're the biggest pussy of all time. This guy didn't even like baseball. The only reason he liked baseball is so he could bring up baseball to make fun of pitchers who were too big of pussies to pitch inside. Anyways, so you're in Virginia, 2014.
Or 2011. Wait, no, I'm talking Jeter's 3,000th hit.
Yes, that's 2011, 12?
Yeah, because I remember the night we were in a chase at the time with Cleveland. I think we were a game and a half behind Cleveland, and the night before Cleveland was down 4-0 going into the bottom of the ninth against the Blue Jays, and Travis Hafner hit a walk-off grand slam. I remember that pissed off me and my dad.
I have to get up and get some water. I need right now. Just give me fucking 2 minutes unfiltered Travis Hafner.
Travis Hafner, one of the more underrated players of his generation. Not only underrated as a player, but underrated as a team was those. I mean, Cleveland had so many opportunities in the 90s to win championships that people talk about, but they had a really good one in 2007. I mean, they had a really good team with Casey Blake and Sizemore and Hafner.
Thank you. Did I just get a Sizemore?
Of course, yes.
Like Jacoby Ellsbury without doing it in Boston and being way better.
You know, he was like, people are going to say this crazy, but he was like, in terms of overall talent, like on that upper, like that Griffey tier. He was that, like, he was a freak athlete. And of course they had Sabathia and Fausto Carmona. They beat the Yankees in the DS, and then they were up 3-1 with Sabathia on the mound against the Red Sox in 2007. And then I think they got outscored 30-5 in the last 3 games, I think. And that Beckett pitched Game 5 and he was great. But yeah, I mean, he was a masher, dude. Cleveland's. It's weird that nowadays they're like that team that's just kind of puts the ball in play and doesn't hit for a ton of power, because they've had so many guys that have raked there, like Tomei, Hafner, Encarnacion. They had for a few years. Like they do a really good job with lineup construction there. But Hafner no, he played for the Yankees for a bit. So he wasn't.
Hafner only had he had a 5-year stretch. I'm sorry, Hafner had a 5-year stretch where I want to say he averaged probably 38 home, 110 RBIs with like a 290 to 305 average, and he did it like 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, or he did it 03, 04. Like he did it at a time when they got rid of Tommy, because Tommy went to
Philly.
Yeah, and then Philly traded Tommy to the White Sox.
Yeah, and then he ended up going to the Twins as well. He's the biggest Tiger killer of all time, Jim Tomei. But Travis Hafner, yeah, you're right. 5-year stretch from 03 to 07, 956 OPS.
Holy fuck.
141 home runs, but one of those years he missed a lot of time. He had a 42 home run season, a 33 home run season. I mean, for his career, he had an 874 OPS. Like, I mean, that's really good.
I mean, it's first ballot Hall of Fame. If you have an 874 OPS in your career.
Yeah. He just didn't do it long enough. Didn't get called up till he was 25.
So where did he go to college? Community college, or did he go to like a Northeastern or like nowhere warm? Yeah, nowhere warm.
31st round pick in 1996 out of Poly Community College.
I'll say it. Travis Hafner did a ton of steroids. So like, no disrespect to Travis Hafner, and I'm a big like steroid truther. I don't have any like. There shouldn't be a problem talking about that because, like, I know like Nikki Lopez just went deep off you, Darvish. No, damn. All right, so Nikki, I'm going to tell you a quick Nikki Lopez personal story. I don't like telling personal stories about these guys because they don't want me doing it. But Nikki Lopez is one of the nicest guys, not just in like baseball, but just like I've met through this job period. Like that works for Barstool, doesn't client, could work for Miller Lite, could work. He just works for the Kansas City Royals. So my wife and I get down to spring training this year, and right away, like I have a couple buddies on the Royals. I have on different teams, and they're like, "Hey, let's go get there. Let's go hang out. Let's, welcome to Arizona for spring training. Let's have some fun." And so I go out with Nikki. Nikki and Vinny are like, all they want to do is talk to Mrs. Carl. she doesn't know anybody. She didn't know anybody. What do we got to talk to her? Nikki fucking ends up setting my wife up with his wife and her friends. He's like, hey, this is like boys' time. The boys, we do our baseball stuff. And I've known this, in Sydney, and she's got her thing going on. She's got her group of girlfriends. Here's the number. I'm going to get her over. So then he like invites and introduces Mrs. Carl. Then they end up like, here, the girls are going to go get dinner. Why doesn't Mrs. Carl go hang out with the girls? So since we got down to Arizona, I'm not saying like the Kansas City. I'm making this as specific as possible. Nikki Lopez went out of his way to like get Mrs. Carl a group of friends in Arizona because it was like, well, I know what it's gonna. I know because I've been coming out here for years. We'll be busy and the boys will be out doing the thing. Like that's the type of shit where like when I'm away for myself, we're not doing. I'm just like sitting there like, of course, you think I'm not cheering for Nikki Lopez?
Yeah,
I'll fuck him. So you think you're going to, like, somebody's going to come into my kitchen and be like, hey, Nikki Lopez isn't good in baseball. He's the best fucking guy in the universe to me. We got a big pop here. Dom Fletch. God bless him. Italy's not out. And Vinny's holding the helmet. I can't wait. We're going to do it. We'll do it. Tigers in Kansas City. We'll go down and hang out with the boys.
That'd be fantastic. We have
to. Right? We have to. This is going to be a great year of baseball, Chris. The fact that you and I are up this early, like talking Italy, Japan, like it means a lot to me. I appreciate it, man. I know
dude, of course, man. I need. I mean, it's important to me. I'm trying to, up the content game and it's tough. It's working remote is tough, man.
Isn't it? I think you're going to really enjoy your trip to Chicago and just. It's not even about like, oh, you get to make more. You just get to be around.
I just want to be around my friends. Yeah, that'll be the most important thing. It really is like, there really is a lot of truth to the fact that like, it's annoying when, like your favorite people are all, in other states. Yeah.
Dispersed, like to me, it's like, there are a number of things I can do. Now, I bring up Mrs. Carl. She's sitting on the couch right now with Scottie Pippen. No one's ever seen her, and if it were up to me, hopefully no one will ever see or be like that close into the family, right? But I have to, at some point, Maybe some point, right? She's like sitting here, like looking at me, like, don't stop fucking talking about me. But like, she's up. It's 6 a.m. local time. She knows this game means a lot. She knows the boys on the
Yeah.
field. Like, and I'm saying this because in some respect, like, this is our job. This is the
Yeah.
job. This is like this is what we do. This is our job. It's, my dad's a lawyer. He gets up. He's fucking legalizes whatever the fuck. My mom was a manager. People just, they get up, they go to work. So like, this is a job. This is what we do. And as the longer I've worked at Barstool as a full-time job, the more I've kind of, it's like, well, what are you good at? What are you actually
Yeah.
good at? What do you like? Like, what are you? I really like baseball.
Yeah.
I like it so much. I went from not playing in high school to being the bullpen catcher to closing at Illinois. I like it so much.
You didn't play in high school?
Bro. I was a student manager as a freshman.
Wow.
I was caught bullpens as a junior and was like a charity case because my older brother is like a legendary character guy for the program. My dad's company donated a scoreboard and a couple nice classrooms when they were doing a renovation in 2003. How about this? I was a junior in high school, and the gym teacher's like, "Hey, Stirk, fuck is this?" And like pulls me out, like is like bullying me because my dad's my dad's company had donated. No, it's not like my dad's company was like, he's like sit on the board. Like, he worked for a company. His business partner donated classrooms to the school. I was a junior in high school, and outside of an English classroom, it said, "In honor of Michael Stirk, class of 05, and the dedication ceremony is April 2004. I hadn't even graduated to high school, and
they say not bad.
Now so it's like, was I in the baseball team? Like, yeah, I had a classroom. Now, did I have a classroom, or was it like no? It was my dad's business partner was the chairman of the board, and it wasn't like it's a long story. This is personal shit, but the business is Olson and Stirk is my last name, but Stirk is not like my dad's not like running the fucking place.
Yeah.
So like one day I like went into school and they're like, "Oh, you didn't see the fucking classroom," and I was like, "God damn it, Dad." So no, I was on that baseball team. I did not play. I was tendonitis as a senior. Tendonitis as a senior. I went down to the University of Illinois for summer camps. My brother Kevin went to the summer camps. He'd fuck around and spend the night in the dorms, and you'd meet all these other high school baseball players. So when I was in like 7th, 8th grade, I was like, oh my God, when I'm in high school, I get to do the week at Illinois where you meet all the other high school baseball players. And I went down freshman year and was like, yeah, I play third base. Went 0 for 14 with 14 strikeouts in the
Oh my God.
4 games that they played. Laughed at, embarrassed. I remember one game I was crying in the back of the bus because it was it was like the juniors and seniors in high school, and I was the youngest. They were like, "Why are you even down here, dude? You're taking at bats away from the guys." I'm like, I play a lot at the school I'm from. I don't, it's different. And I cried heavily. And then the next year I played as an outfielder. But then, now this is sad. I had to leave halfway through the camp because my grandmother passed away. But big baseball fan though, so she'd be very proud of me now. Junior year, I went down there and I was like, well, I know I suck, so I'm just gonna try pitching. And I was a bullpen catcher, and I just tried pitching. I got a mound, first pitch, 87. Had never pitched, had nothing. I was literally just trying to was like, well, I got a week down here. What am I gonna do? I never get to pitch. I never get to do anything. You know what? I want to pitch this week, so I pitch. I hit 80. That's a long-winded fucking story.
Wow.
There could be nobody watching this, Chris, but now you know that about me.
Yeah, I didn't know.
That was when I was like, oh wow, I could be good at this. Now I will continue to say my number in that camp. Now this is important. Why do I know this? My number in that camp was number 115. All right. So when they sign up, what's your position? If I was a shortstop, my number could have been 627. If I was a left fielder, I would have been 702. I was a pitcher, so I was the 15th pitcher who had registered at the camp. I was number 115. And that's how they organize you. All right, so everybody get a number. What's your number? And so get in line, the pitchers get in line. Pitcher 114 was a pitcher named Christian Friedrich, my age, went to Loyola, first-round draft pick out of Eastern Kentucky.
Wow.
We became very good friends at that camp. He was a Chicago kid, ended up going to Eastern Kentucky. He was a first-round draft pick, made it up with the Rockies, only had a couple starts. He was a big prospect. I don't know if you know that name, Chicago kid, Christian Friedrich. Anyways, 114. He saw me pitch and was like, dude, you're fucking good. And I was like, yeah, I pitch a lot for Brother Rice. Just lied to him. Just lied. And that's how I got into pitching.
Huh. Well, I know that's a fucking wild story, man.
Then walked on as a sophomore in college. So then I was like, oh, okay, so I can throw hard. And then I spent years like trying to figure out how to like do that. And then I didn't play at all. And then I played on a club team my freshman year of college. This is a long bottom 8, 1 out. All right, you tell me your like, when did it click for you when you were like, this is my game? This is my fucking thing.
Man, good question. I talked about this. I think I did a video on this recently. Okay, so growing up, I think it's like this. If you ask anybody like close to my generation, they'll say this. The 06 Tigers run had a huge impact on people. Hadn't been in the playoffs in 19 years. You come up with this team that 3 years before lost 100 and whatever, it was 19 games or something. And yeah, obviously they lost to the Cardinals, but that was probably the first time where I'm like, okay, baseball's a thing. Because, dude, like until then, the Tigers are so fucking bad. Like people didn't even talk about them. Like they were that bad. But baseball for me, it was always third favorite behind football and basketball, and then that changed in high school, and it was kind of two. This might not be the right word, but like triggering events. One of them was the 2011 World Series, specifically Game 6. I remember I was watching that because the Tigers weren't in it. They got knocked out by the Rangers. But I stayed up to watch that, being like, okay, well, the Rangers are going to win. I guess I'll watch it, the final outs or whatever. And I stayed up all night, basically, because that game was like one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. The back and forth, Freeze ties it, then they tie it again in the 10th. He wins it in the 11th. And I was like, wow, that was the most entertaining sporting event I've watched in a long time. And then I was in high school at the time, and after that, like I just went to like all of our high school's games. Like there would be games where I was the only guy there.
Wait. That one put you where you were like, I'm going to the high school games?
It helped. That and the Tigers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's an amazing. So you weren't playing. You weren't like the team manager. Played. You weren't like fucking on the scoreboard or anything. You were just
I would go to the games. I would like to. I'm not even. There was one time I went to a fucking scrimmage. I drove out to Portland, Michigan, which is like 40 minutes from Lansing, and just to watch them scrimmage. And I would I love you. I wouldn't keep track of stats for the team. I would just do it. Just for fun. And one time this guy's a friend. One time I got mad at a local writer in Lansing, Michigan. I might post this story. I might clip this actually. I got mad at a local writer from Lansing, Michigan because I was a senior in high school. I just finished my senior year, and we had a pitcher on our team, Tom Lancy, shout out Tom, who was in the midst of a 21 and a third scoreless inning streak. Which was a thing because I made it a thing. No one else was keeping track of this. I was like, if you go back through your last 4 starts, you haven't given up a run. So like with every inning, I'm like, that's 21 and a third. That's 22 and a third. And then the next day in the paper, the journalist who overheard me talking about this said, Tom Lancy just happens to have a 22 and a third inning scoreless streak going now. And I'm like, the only person in that fucking park that knew that was me. And so he just, so that was my first time where I'm like, motherfucker ripped me off. Didn't give me credit. And then I would just ask, at the end of the year, the guy who kept the stats, I would just be like, can you just send me the book? And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, just the book of all the at-bats and statistics. It's like, what do you need it for? I just want to look at it. And so I got super into that. And then Baseball Reference was like my best friend in high school because it became a personal thing with me.
No, Baseball Reference changed. And
completely.
And anybody on the inside of baseball that's following this shit will be like, yeah, Fangraphs. I get it. Sure. I'll get it.
I'm a baseball reference guy.
Baseball reference me is like it's like your high school. It's like the first time. It's like the first. Sure, Fangraphs has better information and more usage and all that fucking shit, but man, it's like your first Toyota. It's like whatever. It's just home. It's home. It's home. Baseball reference. That's how I would. Fangraphs, sure, whatever. I bet I could know that. I bet you know that. And then there's the baseball prospectus guys and the baseball America guys, and those are the spectrums. And I'm in both those spectrums, and that's the deep message boards. I'm sorry, when you just brought up when you found baseball reference, like I just wanted to make that distinction for the 6 people or 2 people watching this. Thanks, Mom. Like baseball reference, 2 baseball guys, that's home. Fangraphs is when you want to like. To me, is like when I really got to know something or figure something out. Is like, all right, I'll go look that up on Fangraphs. But for the most part, reference. Thank you.
My reasoning is kind of, I don't think it's bizarre, but like I genuinely feel this way. Fangraphs is an amazing site, but I think the outlook of the site is a mess. Like visually, I think there's so much to look at. Whereas Baseball Reference is so fucking clean. It's just perfectly put together. Like you can get access to anything right away. So that's one. And then it became a personal thing by the time I was in high school, because it's like I made it my life's mission. I'm like, I'm going to know so goddamn much about look, man, especially in fucking high school. I wasn't going to be the fucking quarterback, but I'm like, there's not going to be a single person.
You're fucking doing music videos, buddy. Like you're singing into the camera.
For fun.
I know, but don't act like you weren't fucking doing your thing. Like, get this.
No, I swear to you, I swear to you, I was not.
Kid, like in baseball reference and all that stuff, but like, there's a dog in there. There's a dog in there.
There might be, but he never came out. He might come out on camera, but like I was not,
Okay.
I
look good. I'll be honest. What is this? Oh, are we now? Where am I? Am I 09 Castellani? Because you look good 09.
No, this is
10, 11, 12.
High school was fall of 2011 through spring of 2014.
Okay, 09 Castellani. Unclip that part from the internet. That'll get me arrested. I'm just saying what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like the fucking the summer Detroit, Michigan air, fresh glow on the face. Like there's this side of you that there's this fucking what am I trying to say? Like this Justin Timberlake, Frank Sinatra, born to entertain side of you.
Yeah, I mean on camera definitely. It doesn't show a lot maybe in real life, but when it comes to my content, yeah.
Well, so I'm just the way baseball interacts and it comes into this. So you're just like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking dive into this baseball shit and all this stuff now that I'm in high school.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to know more than I do. Was my goal. It's like I don't care if I don't play. Like this is just numbers that are really fascinating to me. And obviously, like I'm leaving a big part. The Tigers going on the run they were on. I mean, they won 4 straight division titles from 11 to 2014. Like the amount, and I know they didn't win a World Series, but the amount of great players and great baseball that I watched, like during a really formative time in my life, was huge. Like it scares me about the current generation because, like, if you were born in 2005. Like, all you know is just shitty Tigers teams. Like, that's sad to me. Like, I came up, like, it mattered so much, those like, that decade there where we kept putting out banger team after banger team. And, like, yeah, they came up short, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, when you're sitting there and Miguel Cabrera is Miguel Cabrera was an everyday highlight for SportsCenter. Not a lot of baseball players in that era can play. And that's kind of let back into the SportsCenter into the social media era when, like, that was a thing. But yeah, it was a thing every day where you would get a Miguel Cabrera update. You'd get a fucking Justin Verlander update. They were interesting. Jim Leland was a very great character to get interested in.
For sure.
Dude, my old man was a White Sox. My dad to this day is a diehard White Sox fan and a diehard baseball fan, and a just psychotic huge baseball fan, huge White Sox fan. When the Sox went on strike, just Jerry Reinsdorf, or when baseball went on strike because of Jerry Reinsdorf, and then when they came back, they fucking cleaned house on the pitching staff and gave Albert Bell the biggest contract in fucking franchise history. Mm-hmm. And my old man, there was like a year period where if he turned that shit off, He'd come
Oh,
in the
really?
house. He'd come in the house after a long day of work, fucking sitting in the garage, smoking fucking cigs, gassing fucking beers, like ready to come into the house with the 3 young kids and, like all that shit. And he'd be like, and he'd just see like the White Sox came out and he'd be like, turn that fucking shit off right now. It would just be like, turn that fucking shit. And we went to a ton of games and all that stuff. He was but he, 94 to like 96, 7, he was like an angry, like the White Sox were like, oh, we're not into them. And then my brother's diabetes, type 1 diabetes, and my mom got really into the charity with Ron Santo. She was a Cubs fan. My oldest brother gets diabetes. He becomes a Cubs fan. This is young kid shit. So then I was like, all right, we got a lot going on in this house when it comes to fucking baseball. I remember being like 10, 11 years old, picking a team, and I got my older brother's a White Sox fan. The other one's a Cubs fan. They're fucking arguing about it. My old lady, I shouldn't say old lady because now I'm married, but my mother at the time, my mother would be yelling about the Cubs. My dad be saying, don't turn the fucking White Sox on. It was a polarizing conversation. It really was. And especially I was the 5th. I was the last one. So I made it. Kerry Wood put me over the top. So this is my long-winded way of saying it was house divided, a true house divided, a true one, Chris.
Well, dude, me and you, we have a lot more in common than you would think about that because I have a family of 4. My dad went to Michigan. I came up a Michigan fan. My brother and I grew up on the west side of Lansing. My brother went to Michigan State, diehard Michigan State fan. My mom, diehard Michigan State fan. So I've been in a house divided my whole life. Yeah. I have it's probably even now because of the field I've been working in. But for the longest time, I didn't have a lot of Michigan friends. It was all Michigan State people, which would be sometimes incredibly fun and sometimes incredibly shitty. When they were making their runs to the Final Four when I was in high school, that was fucking awesome. But yeah, no, I know that feeling all too well. You brought up Kerry Wood. I was thinking about this the other day. I was trying to do a list. I might do a TikTok on this actually. If we're talking greatest stuff for one performance, is Kerry Wood number 1 with a bullet?
Yeah, it has to be, dude. Go back and watch it. The fucking catcher can hardly. I mean, no one can even see what's going on. Like the ball is literally moving.
By the time it got to the 9th inning, he was throwing wiffle balls. I mean, the movement on his breaking stuff was incredible. Didn't the first pitch of that game didn't it go to the backstop or something, or hit the umpire?
Brother, we have a little bingo here. I cannot be talking about it too much. Japan 9-3, Italy first 2 base runners on, both fucking singles.
Here we go. Scrappy lineup.
It's early in the day. I got the jar out. Don't make me open up a bottle of red. I kept it open since last night. Just in case. I'm not going to it. It's fucking 6:30 Arizona time. 6:30 Arizona. People, the time change. I got to get back into Central time zone. I got to get back to God's time zone. I will say this, though. We need a presence in both spring training locations. So slowly but surely, the vision with Barstool Baseball. Now, I want to thank Vinny Pasquantino so much for this vlog series.
Big time.
And we're going to have some fun with the Royals this year. We could have some infield fly. Get out. Sorry.
Damn it.
We could have some fun this year with some other players and talk to some other fellows. There's other stuff coming. But the vision is we have presence. Here, Scottsdale, and in, well, I'm not going to stick anyone in fucking Orlando, but we got to, there should be at least, we got to send one of these Yankees creatures down to Florida. we got to have some action going. There's some stuff, there's a lot of stuff to do around here. Baseball wise. Now, not to say the other thing though is leading into the season. There's a whole fucking season here. We had 162. We got an Omaha trip,
Yep.
We got sentimental stuff around the 4th of July with the fucking Sandlot. There's going to be the Cubs are in London. I got to get out. There's a lot of stuff to do. So my idea with this is hopefully we can spread around, get some people around, go get some, hey, next year, hey, down the road, build. It's also nice to get the fuck out of the Midwest. I'll tell you that. No disrespect to Detroit or Chicago or anybody. I'm just
No,
saying it's very
no
nice to see it out
disrespect
there.
taken. I feel you.
Okay, now that did sneak through. It did not sneak through. It did not sneak through. I thought Fletch was gonna. All right, so when this game's over, and it's not going to be over because Italy's going to tie it up, and you never say never get through. Fuck. Those Fletcher brothers are interesting kids. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Because David's like a 12th rounder from Loyola Marymount, stocky utility infielder. Okay, give me something here, Sal. By the way, the Cubs got that Mastrobuoni kid from Italy. I don't know if people have been following him. He's a AAA guy with the Rays. He's pretty freaking good. These Japanese, I mean, their pitchers are fucking.
Just to put David Fletcher as a player and like how much of an anomaly he is. Last year, 5th percentile in exit velo, and yet he puts fucking ball in play.
Dude, that's the fact that this sport allows for these guys to exist. That like non-hockey, you know, they don't exist in fucking basketball. You're not gonna see them in football. If you met David Fletcher, you would think to yourself, like, what are you doing? Mortgages,
Yeah.
commercial loans with $3 to $5 million private. What's your sweet spot here, buddy? And it's like, no, I'm actually middle infielder for the Angels.
Yeah.
Do you know who Mike Trout is? Yeah, I'm in that exact same. I hit the same lineup. I have his job. I get the same paycheck. I get my paycheck comes from the exact same people as Mike Trout's. You would not believe it. Super, super, super. They're fucking serious guys about baseball, dude.
Yeah.
They're so serious about baseball and like just the fucking craft of like, the footwork. Like your foot has to be here, your balance has to be here. But now that I know that you were a psychopath in high school and you were driving out to watch your team scrimmage.
Oh yeah.
To give yourself an edge, or did you just like the fucking coach?
I fucking love baseball. Okay. Like it's unhealthy, but I can't express to you how much my mental health is impacted by when baseball's going on versus when it's not. Like
congratulations to Italy on a great season, but let's keep this rolling here. I got
no, I'm good. I got time.
No, you're telling me your mental health is impacted by the quality of baseball, or
no, by just it being on. Like I got so mad at Michigan basketball this year because they gave me nothing. Like they didn't make the tournament. So I care a lot about my content, and most of my best content is baseball related. So like if there's nothing there, that's why I'm glad to be doing this. Like I'm happy to get up early to do this. It's like at least it's baseball shit.
By all fucking means, and here I am. I'm like, well, to be honest with you, my baseball fandom is like the most arrogant side of me, and I don't like to fucking. However, I've gotten better as I've gotten older with my expectations relative to what I'm here for. Why did I show up? Why the fuck did I show up? Why? Is it because I have to be the best? We have to be the best? My team has to be the best? My players have to be the best? All right. If that's the reason we're showing up to stuff, I have no fucking control. I don't work for these fucking guys. I got no fucking say in who plays when. I get hardly, and I know, now looking back on the core of the team, and I fell in love with fucking 98 Cubs. I mean, people talking about fucking Rizzo and losing. We lost Mickey Morandini. No, I'm just kidding. Not Mickey. But like, I went through Sammy Sosa shit and Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. These fucking guys leaving. No disrespect to him. But the concept of like this, like we have to be the best. We have to be. No, dude. Like, actually, the reason I showed up in the first place is because I liked summer days that were too hot and watching fucking WGN. I got dialed in on Kerry Wood. I fucking enjoyed it. It wasn't about like when people get too into baseball is we need to win. And then the more exposure you get to the highest level, all right? So like, and when I would say the highest level, I'm not even fuck these players. Fuck all these guys. This ain't the highest level. These players, Players, these motherfuckers come and go. No disrespect to players. I
Yeah.
love baseball players. No disrespect to any baseball player at all. You come and you go. To me, it's the people that are just constant of baseball. The fucking Jim Lelands and the Tommy Lasordas and the Theo Epsteins and the guys and the John McGraws. I brought him up earlier, the player into the coach, into the fucking guy who's just like, I'm here, bro. I'm a legend. I am here for fucking 70 fucking years. You are never getting rid of me.
Yeah.
Those guys will never talk about baseball in the manner of we should have won today, we should have lost today. We're bad because we're great because we won, we're bad because we lost. They talk about process. They talk about fucking like the fucking this part of the game. It just goes like this.
Yeah.
And you just got to figure out how to stay on that fucking curve. And there's something, and again, no disrespect to players. And this is a long-winded fucking morning rant here about baseball as we get going about what we love about it. But why do we care? And why am I willing to show up? And if I'm willing to show up because I expect my team has to win 90 fucking 6 games and compete against the St. Louis Cardinals, or, hey, I'm going to get a dozen days this year at that ballpark while the sun is out, keeping fucking score, sitting next to my wife, a miles walk away from that fucking stadium.
Yeah.
I'm there for fucking that, and I'm there to fucking, and at least in this part as this job is concerned, I want to fucking help people understand, like, it's okay. It's fucking like we got like the Mariners. Let's talk about the Mariners for a second. I like the Mariners, you know. I like the Royals. I think there's shit going on. Hey, there's a young fucking pitcher here in San Diego. Hey, have you heard about this fucking 22nd rounder all the way out to Omaha? And now I'm gonna stop talking because I'm on a long rant to ask you: did you have a life experience in fucking Omaha or what?
Life experience, yes. I would say truly. I would say it was, and I did not expect this to happen. I would say it's probably the best week of my life. I mean, like, outside of the fact that it was Barstool shit and, like, the Ameristar there is fucking awesome. And, like, I mean, dude, those people being there for a week, it's like living in a small country. Like, those places are massive. It's awesome. But, I mean, that's my favorite Barstool story. And I remember when I came back, my dad was like, you understand, dude, like, that you're going to tell your kids about this one day. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, because originally the plan wasn't initially going to be this, it's the Mintz and I like take over for a week thing, because Ole Miss barely made the tournament. I was just going to be there for 3 or 4 days. And I don't think I've ever told this part of the story publicly, but I was going to leave. I was set, like my flight was ready for the next day, and I posted a video with me and Mincy, being like, hey, this is an amazing experience. Hopefully Ole Miss wins tomorrow. If they're in, they're going to the finals. And so, like, I'm set. And then I get a message from the boss man being like, you are not fucking leaving Omaha until Ole Miss is out of this tournament. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, my flight's tomorrow. And he's like, I don't give a shit. I'll pay for it. Like, you are staying until Ole Miss is out. And so I did. Shout out to our awesome travel booker, Caitlin Walker, who helped out with that as well. Because I was like walking through the Ameristar being like, do I have to change rooms? Like, what's going on? They were great with it. And then the flight that I was supposed to be on the next day got canceled. So
Crashed?
I would have been.
Oh.
No, not crash. Not crash. How fucking crazy would that have been?
I know. I'm just kidding. There was not there was no no plane crash. Domestic plane has crashed like that.
No.
Commercial plane. That was just a joke. I was following you. I'm sorry.
But no, it
canceled. You had to stay. They were making you stay.
It got canceled. Well, I mean, I was happy to stay. And then with fucking Ole Miss winning the whole thing, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like that was the same thing happened the year before with Brandon. That is Barstool magic at its finest. Like,
I was Ben's producer for that weekend. I held that.
That's right.
I had to teach, and I'm not, no disrespect to Ben, because now he does it. Now he's fucking game update. We're here. We're doing this. I remember getting there and he's like, so what are we doing? I'm like, yeah, we fucking make shit. So like, I'm gonna need you to stand over there and go talk to those people, and I'll just text it to you. You know, like he's so pure and good. Thank God for that fucking guy. I love Ben
so much.
Cannot wait for us to get together. We should do some kind of like warm up. We should do a warm up. Now, I would like to I'll just say it now. We should go down for an LSU weekend with him in May and do something with Anthony Renato, who's got a shop there, pitch on the '09 team, who was in the big leagues for a little
Okay.
bit, and a good buddy. And we'll just to like get the juices flowing. I'm sure we'll find a couch we can stay on. I'm sure I'm not calling fucking Hank and being like, we need 4 rooms. Hey, Caitlin, book 6 hotel. I'm more than happy to take a fucking Amtrak and a Greyhound or whatever. Just get down there.
Yeah.
But just kind of get that juices flowing. Hear the metal bat. Bing, bing.
Yeah.
LSU, by the way,
Is insanely good this year.
They have the best players at every position. They're the best. They have the best. Have you seen Dylan Cruz swing a baseball bat?
Yeah, he's insane. Yeah, cruise missile.
Have you seen Tommy White just hits pop-up home runs to right field? He just like, every guy that comes out of their bullpen either throws 98 or is like a transfer closer. Like, oh, here's Jason, former closer, Arizona State, throws 9-6 from the left side. He's here pitch the 6th. Fuck, man. I think we got to get. I don't know. I would like to pick a college team. Although Ole Miss is Mints, Mississippi State obviously Brandon Walker. I'll wear the Illinois orange. They're not going to. Oh, it could be
Never know.
Oh. We hosted a super regional while I was alive. That happened. Michigan's good enough for you to give a fuck about that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with Bakich gone, but yeah, they definitely helped themselves a lot with the last few years. I mean,
all right, I'll send you some links to Florida. We got to get. I need somebody who gives a fuck about Florida. They got a left-handed kid. I think his dad's a mobster. His name's Jack Caglianone or something. He throws 98 from the left side, and he leads the country in home runs, and he starts on Saturdays. So yeah, I mean the Tigers could be drafting him next year. No disrespect to the season. Just saying.
None taken. I know where we're at.
This is an early morning World Baseball Classic stream, spring training, getting the fucking vibes list. I don't know about the chatter, the concurrence. I've just been so dialed to the conversation this morning, Chris.
I appreciate it, man. When does U.S. play again?
U.S. plays again on what day is today?
The 16th.
Happy birthday, Mike. They play again on, I think, the 18th.
18th, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Who do they play?
They will play Venezuela.
In Miami?
Yes.
Who's pitching?
I'm not sure. I feel like it lines up for it to be Wainwright, but
I feel like you could get hit off Wainwright.
I don't know.
We talked about this on our last stream. You have to stand in.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'd be more comfortable against Waino than. Well, I don't know. She's got that fucking curveball though. But yeah, he didn't top out. He topped out at 87, I think, last year.
Like, you don't have to catch these guys. You don't have to fucking umpire it. Just stand in the fucking back corner of the box and just track it. Well, you don't even have to have a bat. We'll just I'll throw you in all catcher's gear too. But just like hear it inside. Actually, next time you're in Chicago, I'll take you on a day trip. I'm sure White Sox Dave's coming too. We'll do a thing. My buddy, he's the Northwestern guy. My buddy, Dusty, diehard Cubs fan, is their coach.
Oh, okay.
Their record's not too good, and no joke. So we gotta get there soon. Just kidding. Dusty's a fucking legend. He's not going anywhere. He's one of their coaches. They have shit. We'll have you go stand. Dave and I did this thing where they have the machine that goes up to like 106, and we in the box, and you can just take hacks, and they program all the different pitches. That would be a friendly piece of content. The sun's coming up. I'm sorry. I'm rambling here. I had a great time.
Oh, you're good.
This morning, Chris. This is usually how it goes with me. I don't know when to shut up. Any other things before before we shut down this World Baseball Classic stream?
Follow at Stool Baseball on Twitter.
That got changed. Thank fucking God that got changed.
Officially got changed at Stool Baseball. And then subscribe to this channel, Barstool Baseball, as well. And on is the TikTok change?
TikTok's moving. No, TikTok is Barstool Baseball.
Is it Barstool? Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think in the world of easiness to change, I think TikTok was easy. YouTube was easy.
YouTube's too easy, yeah.
And Colin's back from vacation, a well-earned, deserved vacation.
Very much so.
All right, fucking juices are flowing before the season gets going. And Phil, Phil might be the most dangerous person at the company. He might be the most dangerous person, period. Phil's an assassin. Phil, the amount of baseball bodies Phil will have stacked at the end of the season, he is so good, and he's just so good. And I don't think he understands when I'm texting him hey, what do you think we should do about this? Just tell me what to do. That kid's so fucking good. We got a great infrastructure, great team moving. I'm super, super, super pumped about opening day. But before we get to opening day, I shouldn't say before, the college baseball stuff. Are you texting? Who are you texting? Let me see that text message.
No, it's literally just looking through I'm not texting anybody right now. Oh, no, that's not true. I shot my mom a text to let her know what I was doing with you this morning. She wanted to
tell your mom I said thank you for letting me steal you for a little bit.
No, they're not here, so it's fine.
It's my birthday. I'm 36 years old today. I'm gonna go do a selfie video to Vinny, and probably not sleep the rest of the day. All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right, nice talking to you, man. Yeah, appreciate everyone that hopped in. I'll see you later.
Always a pleasure.